T.P. McIntyre. I'm author of My Waffles Are Cold, A Man's Guide to Abusive Women. One question I get a lot is, how do I retrieve my belongings after a relationship has ended? And normally what happens is, in an abusive relationship, the offended party gets a restraining order. And as I've said in previous videos, I have previous law enforcement experience as a 911 dispatcher, and we got this question a lot: how do I go get my stuff? And my quick answer to that is to ask you, how important is that stuff anyway? Say you left a relationship, you've left the apartment, house, whatever, and you want to go back and get your belongings, and you have a restraining order against the individual. Well, the answer to that is, it's not as easy as you would think it would be. You just don't show up on a door and bang on it and knock on it and demand your stuff back, especially if you have a restraining order against this person. The reason for that is, legally, you could be in jeopardy. Either party can break a restraining order, not only the person you took the restraining order out against, but you can violate it yourself by going over there and making contact. So what you need to do is go back to the judge that issued the restraining order and specifically petition the court that you want to retrieve your belongings so that you can get an amended restraining order. So it allows you to suspend the restraining order in force only for purposes of retrieving your belongings. This will be done usually with police officers on scene, and you go in and get your stuff. Now, the problem with that is that if you go there and the person disputes your ownership of the property, it pretty much ends it. Police officers are not going to get involved in whose property is whose. Police officers are law enforcement officers. They don't enforce civil law. That's for a judge. And so if that happens and you can't get your stuff, you may want to start a ruckus. But again, you'd be subject to arrest or be removed from the property. So that's not the way to do it. You need to go to a judge and tell them with a list of things you want to get from the premises. Now, this is going to differ from jurisdiction to jurisdiction. But what normally happened in my experience was, they will go to the individual and say, do you have any dispute over these items? Now, a lot of things can happen with that. The person, depending on how nasty they are, especially if they're a narcissist, may just start destroying your stuff. If that's the case and you've got this active through the court, that person could be charged with destruction of personal property. Another civil matter, but at least you got the ball rolling, and you got something going to get your stuff back. Now, with all that said, again, why would you want to get it in the first place? Okay, some things are just better off left alone. Unless these are, absolute, you have to have this for life and happiness, you may just want to walk away. That's your decision. My suggestion is walk away. If you've gone no contact with this person, having recontact isn't going to help the situation. You say, well, I don't even want them to get my stuff because I don't want them to have any satisfaction whatsoever. But in essence, if they're a narcissist, they're probably just laying in wait for you to try something like that. And like I said, they've already destroyed your property, threw it away, gave it away. I know that was my experience. And it's they may go the opposite way and say, yeah, you can have your stuff, I'll put it on the front lawn in the rain. Again, if you haven't gone to court and started the process, and they probably wouldn't be charged with anything. It's a private matter between two individuals. It's basically he said, she said. And again, police officers aren't going to get involved. The only time they get involved is if there's actual physical violence or something that's threatening the community under domestic violence laws, and then subsequently, they can act on that. Now, saying all that, how do I get a restraining order against an individual? That is another process in itself. Judges just don't issue restraining orders on a whim. When you issue a restraining order against somebody, you, in effect, you restrict their free movement under the Constitution. Now, you may be just rolling your eyes saying that they don't need special privileges. Well, everybody is afforded these privileges in the United States, no matter what. That's why we have a due process, program in place. If you're going to go to get a restraining order, it's a good idea, before you even get to that point, to have things logged and written down. When you go to the judge and you say, this person, I don't want them coming over my house, and I don't want them talking to me, and I've blocked all forms of communication, but they still keep talking to me. Then you need to have that stuff recorded. And you need to also say if there's any kind of threats, if they, physical violence in the past, or, even severe emotional distress, you need to let them know that too. And if you have dates and times and people and places, especially police reports, your case is a lot better than if you don't have any of that. Because like I said, when you go before the judge is not going to too much go by hearsay. You bring the other person and says, I never said a thing. I never did a thing. There's no proof. And the judge may restrict or outright deny the restraining order. Now, I'm saying that together with the previous part is that in the restraining order, you need to think. You're not going back to this person. If you combine the two things, it says, I want a restraining order, but I also want to retrieve my stuff. Then it all gets wrapped up into one thing. Nice and clean. It's also good to have an attorney. Real good. Depending on your financial situation. I mean, if you can't afford an attorney, for criminal matters, you would have one afforded to you. In civil matters, not quite. It depends on your state, whether or not they have a legal aid system that will give you a free attorney. For myself, I'm a veteran. I got a lot of free legal advice and actions in my behalf. For instance, filing bankruptcy because the narc basically, either took all my stuff, or got me I was so crazy, I just gave it to her, basically. So what you have to do with this situation is be smart. You need to read up your individual state laws as it pertains to restraining orders, property rights, all of that. Be up on it. Get your ducks in order so that when you go before the judge and you want to go get your property, again, my suggestion is if you don't absolutely need it, the narc in my life had furniture I'd given her that I still was paying for, and I decided to swipe it out, and it was thousands of dollars in my bankruptcy, and she can have it. I don't care. I'm free of that. I'm living in another country now with my new wife. I don't care. It's in my past now. I'm not interested in paying her back. It's like I say in all the videos, the purpose of healing and moving on isn't about paying them back. They don't care anyway. In fact, they just enjoy the extra attention. They know they're getting in your head one way or another. Okay? So be smart. Research. Listen to videos like this. Other people have videos as well that help you to make sure that if you have to go before a judge or have to take any legal action, or if you just need advice, you're making the right decisions based on knowledge and not just based on what you're thinking up in your head or what you saw on Law and Order, okay, which normally, is not the right thing. And again, it varies from state to state. Okay, that's my short little spill on this. If you have any questions, put them in the comments on the video, and I'll do my best to get to them individually. And I'll because you may not want to share your stuff on a public page, just provide me an email address, and I'll follow up with my email address, and we can go back and forth until we can find type of a solution for you. I'll help you with that. Again, I'm TP McAtamney. I'm author of the book, My Waffles Are Cold, A Man's Guide to Abusive Women. Have a great day.